World Champions was good is the end of the thought, Brendan.
If World Champions was good, that's what my was.
Oh man, but a game that is actually surprisingly good is a game that me and actually all of the Team RDW got a code for. So shout out to Elphonic for providing us with codes to Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the game. So me and Mark got to dive into it a little bit this weekend. I know Brendan was busy with his brother's graduation, and Alante was at a wedding. But me and Mark did get some time with it throughout the weekend, so we can talk a little bit about what we've played so far. But yeah, Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the late 80s IP where self-explanatory Killer Klowns come down from outer space. And I knew nothing about this IP before the game came out. And
I can break down the game real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
So essentially, probably being the only person that plays Dead by Daylight here.
Yeah, I've played for a while.
Essentially, if you like your Dead by Daylights, if you like your Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, basically any of that, this is something up your alley. Now, granted, it is a solid game, but I've had moments where people are insanely sweaty or had some let me talk about the bad before I get to the good. Yep. I've had a lot of BM in this game. I've had a lot of like early sweatiness with other players, and if this is a game where it's just like if you don't want to talk to other people, mute immediately. Now, on to the good, the talking function. Something I do like is that it does the whole Lethal Company thing where it's proximity chat, where it's not just only people of the same team can hear each other. Everybody in that proximity can hear each other. So, say Brendan, if you're playing Clown and I'm playing Human, and you hear me talking mad shit,
he'll be just dragged off into the ether like, ah!
Now, one thing I've come to love and appreciate about this game is both sides can beat each other's ass.
Hell yeah!
Like, David, are you the type that when you play? Are you the type that choose to run away, or did you try and fight them a little bit?
So I mean, I honestly unlike DVD, because I don't play DVD at all, mostly because of the IPs that they use. I'm not into horror at all. Like, Luigi's Mansion gave me nightmares when I was a child. I don't do horror at all. And also, if I never would have watched Killer Klowns, because I would have also been scarred from Clowns because of this horseshit.
You would
so luckily, I'm into this now versus earlier. But I'm not afraid of the clowns. So honestly, if I see one, if I'm not equipped to fight it, like if I don't have a shotgun or something, I'll run away. But if I got like a frying pan, or I got like an air horn, or I got the stuff on me, I'm fighting that clown, bro. You ain't gonna walk up on me with your squeaky ass shoes, bro. Like, you ain't gonna walk up on me.
Here's the crazy thing: there's already tech and techniques that people are implementing from other games as well.
Mm-hmm.
And this game I enjoy because the different characters have different stats.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it's not like just based on everyone's just a human. Like, you can actually choose, change up your classification of human, and that's not just a cosmetic thing, but it's also a stat thing, which is pretty cool.
I like the Troublemaker because because they're the fastest moving, and they have some decent damage with weapons. So it's just okay, cool. So okay, cool. Yeah, I don't have a lot of health. My stuff is gonna be slow to come back, but it's just all right, cool. Whack 'em, run. There are plenty of weapons and options to defend yourself as a human. The teams are 3 clowns versus 7 humans, and you are offered technically 5 means of escape. So you have your bridge, you have the bunker, you have the boat, and then the
portal.
Bridge, bunker, huh?
Bridge, bunker, portal, and then the ice cream truck.
Yeah, the ice cream truck.
But that's like a last 30 seconds of the match if you happen to be in the area.
So that sounds just like the vents in Dead by Daylight, because I'm familiar with it as well. Where your means of escape, you only have 2 means of escape. Well, 3 if you count dying. 2 means of escape. You have turning on the generators, to turn on the door and activate the door, and all that is a waiting process and a QTE process. Or if you have the key, you can find a hidden trap door to escape. And then even finding the trap door, it pops up like towards the end of the round, similar to like the last ditch effort in Killer Klowns. But it is an audio cue, so you have to listen for like the draft, the breeze coming through the map somewhere, so that way you can go ahead and find it. And that's hard to find, considering that in the maps you already have like eerie, spooky noises, literal whispering in the wind, stuff like that, on top of your teammates yelling.
I'm glad you said something about audio cues, because that is actually something really, really important, because as a survivor, you see how much noise you're making. So like, if you're walking real slow, you're not making any noise. You don't see the little noise meter. Whereas like, if you're running, sprinting, or if you're not crouching, your noise meter gets louder and louder.
I'm watching the footage, and he just pulls. He's like, "That's it. I'm getting me mallet."
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, no. All right, no, David. Tell me about your experience with this game so far, because like I've literally had really good and really terrible experiences with this game.
So
the game is a solid game.
Yeah, so far, like you said, you probably have a little bit more to say since you've played other games similar in the asymmetrical space. But since I don't have any of that, I do like how the more you play, you end up leveling up as a human, and you also end up leveling up as a clown. And pretty much, as long as you stay in the game, you will get XP. Like, you'll get a good amount of XP if you get to the end of a whole match. So it's like kind of incentivizes if you're playing as a clown. You want to kill the humans, or you want to harvest them into cotton candy cocoons, because you'll get XP for that. But also, if the humans aren't being as efficient as they could be, because each game is maybe like 15 or so minutes. But if like if the game gets to like the actual buzzer beater of the round, the clowns basically will win because the humans weren't working fast enough. But you'll still get good amount of XP for just waiting, for being in the game the whole time, and you're getting like Clownpocalypse stuff. So it's not just like you're just not getting anything for being in a whole game and wasting your time. You're still getting experience for that. But also, you do end up getting more tools at your disposal the more you're playing as the clowns and also as the humans. I remember in early access they were saying that it was random if you're going to be a human or a clown, but now that we're in day one of it, you can have a preference if you want to be human or clown, and then it'll probably rotate you in depending on what you want or how the fill is.
It sounds like just like how it is Dead by Daylight, you can queue in, and you get, all right, I want to queue as a killer, preferably.
And honestly,
but if I can't play as a killer, I can play as a survivor.
And honestly, I don't mind playing as either, to be honest, because like Mark said, there's stuff for each side to do. You don't feel like you're underpowered when you're a human if you have the right things going on and if you know what you're doing. You're not overpowered as a clown because you're slow as hell, but you do have ways that you can move faster and outmaneuver or outsmart the humans.
It depends on which variant of the clown.
Yeah, which a variant too, because there's different versions of the clowns and stuff, just like the humans.
There are ones that are meant for tracking. There are ones that are faster. There are ones that are meant for like gunslinging. Yeah, no. So one of the things that we skipped over. One of the things is clowns also get lackeys. So one of the passive ways you can win as a clown is that say like you have one clown focused on chasing everybody, and the other two clowns are more focused on powering their generators. Well, congratulations! Now that the clowns are kind of putting the generators together, they can start Clownpocalypse a lot faster.
I do appreciate how it's just like, so similar to Dead by Daylight, right? Because that's the exact direct comparison, especially for like what they're gunning for. No pun intended. Is that with the different characters and having different classes, I do appreciate the variety. I actually appreciate the variety more in the clowns than the killers. The killers in Dead by Daylight do have a ton of variety, but it's just something so cheesy and goofy about old school 80s, like early to mid 80s horror villains. That's just like, you know what? It brings a lot more charm than like either some of the original characters that they made for Dead by Daylight and some of the other licensed characters that they have. And I'm pretty sure I mentioned this when we got the codes for this, or at least like when the trailers started dropping. But I want to say last week, Dead by Daylight announced they're going to have like a 2v8 mode where it's 2 killers and 8 survivors. So a little bit bigger in scope on that. I haven't really heard, I don't think that mode is out yet. If it is, I haven't heard anybody really say anything about it yet. But regardless, it's good to see that if you really want to turn back the clock, like really, Evolve died, so games like this could happen.
Pour one up for Evolve.
Like, that game came out it was mishandled.
It was literally like the first one.
Early. It's literally case 0. If that game came out around, if they were able to scavenge that game, gut the crazy microtransaction nonsense, and like update it to work on like current hardware and stuff like that, and like just change the balancing, dude, we'd have a plethora of games like this. And another thing I want to add as well.
Bring Evolve back.
I know, right? Another thing I want to add as well. Well, 2 things. A, I do appreciate. I caught how you mentioned that win or lose, you still get a decent amount of experience. I love that when multiplayer games do that, where it's like, hey, if you lose, get wrecked, bozo. You're not gonna get anything. But like staying in the match, as frustrating or as one-sided it could possibly be, depending on your teammates, you still getting a solid amount of experience. Even like you said, getting down to the wire, like that's still worthwhile to help keep players engaged. As opposed,
I'm so sorry to interject, but like there was actually something else in related to that vein because again, apologies for interjecting. So as a human, when you die, you have the opportunity to give play mini games to give cards to other players.
Oh, to give them an advantage. So like so you may be dead, but you can still help out your team. Yeah, which is like in Dead by Daylight. If you're dead, you're dead.
Yeah, if you're dead, you're dead. But however, it is possible for the humans to be brought back once per match. And on top of that, both clowns and humans get a down but not out state.
Makes sense.
And one thing I think that a lot of people who play Dead by Daylight that will enjoy this thing is that, first off, if you like playing Killer, you're going to want a Mori. Everybody likes getting the Mori. However, with this, you have multiple clown-talities for...
The clown-talities are great.
I love that. I was noticing that, like, yeah, there are a lot of, like, really cool, really goofy, like, death animations, like Death by a Shadow Puppet, or, like...
Yeah, they're all direct references to the movie, too, which is just great.
Which I'll ask you your thoughts on the movie in just a second, which wants to get me to my second thing I want to mention. Sorry, to cut my thought for a second. Daniel, have you watched a lot of the old movies like these, or like at least like seen like glimpses of them, like growing up?
I'm kind of like David in that sense, where I wasn't really much of a horror guy, and
that's perfect. Neither am I. I ask because I do appreciate the resurgence of old IPs, right? Like we got Alien Isolation, that game did phenomenal.
Evil Dead.
We got Evil Dead, that game did pretty good. Friday the 13th is still in legal hell, so I don't know. That game is basically dead, unfortunately. I played the RoboCop game. I played the demo. Really, really fun. I can't stop shooting people in the nuts.
Prime time for the 80s.
How the movie works. And then now seeing when they announced Killer Klowns from Outer Space, I'm like, wow, that is a pull. Like, Terminator, I think they're coming out with another game. Like, I know they announced something, or at least like something else along those lines. So I'm really happy to see that these old franchises are being brought back in the new medium to keep up with modern era. And then with Killer Klowns, for example, is a perfect IP to use as a asymmetrical multiplayer game, a la Dead by Daylight, the cash in on that popularity and how well that works out, as opposed to being like, oh, well, it's just a single-player survival horror game. You play as random Joe McGee, and you gotta find a way to stop the clowns or loosely follow the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
Which, going back to the movie, David, I remember you mentioning it on Twitter, and at least like through Discord. What were your thoughts on the movie to catch up on the lore behind the game?
Yeah, so like I said, I never watched the movie back in the day. After getting the code for the game, playing a couple of rounds, I was like, I need to see what the fuck's going on with this movie. So I looked it up, and the only place you can watch Killer Klowns is on Tubi of all places. Luckily, Tubi is free.
Wow.
So I watched. Actually, so this is before I actually watched it on Tubi. So I actually was out at the mall on Saturday. I went to an FYE, and physical media is dying. So all their DVD section is like 2 aisles. but there's some good shit in there if you dig. And I found the physical disc of Killer Klowns from Outer Space for like $8. I got Killer Klowns on DVD for $8. I put it in my Xbox and watched it Saturday night, and I was like, hell yeah, dude. The movie's actually not bad.
Dated sentence. FYE.
Yeah.
I
was surprised they even had movies still in them, to be honest.
I expected you to find Killer Klowns in an FYE. I would not expect you to find it at Best Buy, which they, of course, fun fact, surprise, surprise, they gutted their DVD section. And I know Target is kind of working its way out with that too. But I would expect movies like Killer Klowns from Outer Space, maybe like RoboCop 1, and like the first or second Friday the 13th movie, and maybe one of the original Halloween movies in like that $7 bin.
Yeah, definitely. Good deal. They also had the 4K version of it, 4K Blu-ray version, but it was like $23, and I was like, I'm not invested yet. I'm not dropping that much, but the $8 was worth it. And I'm like, I might go back.
Cheaper than gas.
I genuinely think that we would all do, like, I'm glad we all got codes, but like I genuinely think we should get some more people in on this game because
a private lobby of this would be so fucking funny.
Oh, I can't wait.
Because just like how like when Lethal Company was popping off, you have like all those moments of people being great voice actors because proximity chat. If you get enough friends together where it's just like somebody's talking bad shit, and then next thing I know, David's coming around with the big ass cloud, like, hey, I heard you talking mad shit.
Listen,
that's it. I'm getting me mallet. Squeak, 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 squeak.
I can't wait to like make content from that because that'll be so funny. Like I could just see that.
I honestly, I wouldn't mind getting this game for a couple friends next time I get paid because I know some people that are like, this game seems like a game they want because they played Friday the 13th, or they liked Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or they played Dead by Daylight, but the game's $40 up front, bruh. So they're like, I'll wait, and I'm just like, nah, bro, you got to get on the ground floor for this one. This one's it's kind of fun.
We're in the era right now where like $40 is not a bad deal.
It's not bad, to be honest, for what it is.
$80 after tax,
like,
depending on the game and the region you're at.
My last complaint for this game, just it's something minor. I know we talked earlier about like having games that just drop us in. I feel like this is a game that suffers from dropping you in because like I tried to go into the settings to look at the controls. There was no controller layout.
Small quality of life.
Yeah. And then when it says how to play, like it's just basically a few slides, and so any of the other sub-objectives are trying to figure out or what some of the items do. Like I didn't know there was a compass that helped you find all the exits.
I found that randomly once, and I was like, how long has this been in here?
Exactly. So there are some things in there that just kind of catches me off guard. Like also like the lackeys. The game doesn't. It
doesn't explain them.
It doesn't explain them. It doesn't explain that the lackeys are there to help the clowns find people. They don't do anything else.
Yeah. They snitch on people. They just like shot off like a confetti cannon or like a horn or something to let the clowns know that you're nearby.
They either do that or they jump on you if you don't bonk them.
But I definitely was gonna look up like a IGN guide video or like some Killer Clown tip videos to just get a couple pointers on where to find things. That is another thing too. The maps are a decent size. And it's like, there's 3 clowns.
Confusing.
Yeah, there's 3 clowns, 7 humans. You'd think that's like too many to where you're going to end up running into people and having overlap. But it's like, you can be running around for about a minute or two and not see nobody. And then it's like, then you run into a clown and you're like, oh, then you see the other clowns immediately. And you're just like, Jesus.
I feel that this game, what it is that the maps... They seem to have like really dense, like they're more dense than they appear, and that's what kind of
there's a lot of space in them, low key, and also interiors too.
A lot of these maps are themed around like carnivals or like fun, like family fun places, and then of course I see there's one footage of
neighborhood, like, downtown,
so, like
forest.
I can definitely see how like you can duck and weave in like different hallways or in and out of houses and stuff, but like it's still contained enough where like okay, it's a really more intricate game of hide and seek.
The last thing I will say, and this is a positive. I do like that the item, like you could search different items, different things, and that they replenish over time. Like there are actions that you can do. There are actions you can do as a human that clowns can't do. Like say like you're running away, and this is a tip for anybody that plays the game. If you go inside certain buildings, you can lock the doors.
Oh,
I didn't know you could lock the doors.
I think you could do that in Friday the 13th. I think that was their other game.
Yeah. Because if you lock the doors, now the clowns have to break it. Now the clowns have to break it down.
I didn't know that. I just been closing the door unlocked behind me,
Wow.
and then they open it. I'm like, how do you know?
Jump through the windows. You could jump.
Oh yeah, you can vault and jump over windows. Clowns can't jump.
You can vault through them, or you can sneak through them.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think everybody here on the show would have a good time with a bunch of friends.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. This is definitely a game I would love to just do, like, hey, like how one of our friends.
This would be a great community days game, yeah.
Exactly. Like, how should she try and do a community day with like Friday Fun Day? Like, I think this a game like this will be really fun, especially if we're able to back to back like this Evil Dead. If we could play Friday the 13th in a private lobby mode.
I don't think Evil Dead has its servers up.
Evil Dead? Oh, so they did take it down.
Yeah.
I know Friday the 13th that they did. Damn.
But Evil Dead was a solid game.
Yeah, it's like I saw, like, I remember you were raving about it. I know you love Evil Dead. So she was like, all right, I wanted to check it out, but like so much other stuff came out that it's like, all right, well, doors closed. I'm like, well, that's
Killer Klowns. Didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I do. I'm happy that the asymmetrical horror genre fans are really digging it, hoping for big things to come out of this game, and they're probably gonna hold on to it throughout the rest of the year. So this might actually end up in the multiplayer game category for GOTY. We'll see. That'd be kind of cool.
It's a good,
but yeah.
Good thing.
And then also, I was looking up some trivia on the movie. Apparently, the movie they always wanted to make a sequel, but it never got greenlit. So the fact that they got a game out of this IP is cool. But also, this could reignite people giving a shit about this movie. And then they could end up getting into the territory where they either get a movie going to theaters or straight to streaming because of this game existing, which I honestly would be kind of down with, to be honest.
As long as it seems like they didn't have a too hard of a time getting their hands on the IP and getting it greenlit anyway for game wise, or game development. So as long as they don't have any issues with, again, licensing with the IP, then it should be smooth sailing. Like,
I know
this
the
game
directors
does
will be down for it.
likely will. It will spark like, hey, look, catch it on an actual streaming service like I think it was like, it's not Thriller or Slasher, one of those two is like the horror streaming service. I'm surprised it wasn't on there. Next up, Leprechaun from the Hood. Let's get it.
Oh my god, that fucking
No! I thought I was the only one that seen that.
that Trolls and Trolls 2. We gotta bring that back.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for the binges for the week. Shout out to everyone for bringing one in.